Special City Council meeting, 5:30 p.m., April 2nd, 2020. Meeting in special session at Log Cabin City Hall, 14387 Alamo Road, Log Cabin, Texas. This meeting is streamed on YouTube on the City of Log Cabin channel. Citizens will be able to comment and ask questions via text to 903-875-6501. Again, that is 903-875-6501. If a closed session is necessary, the meeting will be reopened after the closed session. The subjects to be discussed or considered upon which any formal action is to be taken are on the agenda. These items do not have to be taken in the same order as shown on the agenda. Roll call. Jennifer Williams.
Here.
Rodney Allen.
Present.
John Perkins.
Here.
David Campos is absent. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have to talk.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Our Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come and serve the people of Log Cabin. We pray, Lord, that you will give us guidance and wisdom to do this to the best of our ability. Amen. Okay. Sure, you've all been glued to everything that's been going on. We are listening to all kinds of broadcasts here at City Hall, but we also provided you with a copy of the latest order from the governor, GA-14. That is dated March 31st, I think. And also, along with that, to read however you want to, is the TML did their own version, trying to explain what some of the things were. So I thought you should have that to look at. The next order of business is the 2020 election. In the mail today, via email, we got Secretary of State sent an email regarding the elections. And I'm just going to read you a part of it. It says that if you haven't already moved your May 2nd election, you must take action to do so immediately. This most recent executive order will prevent you from securing polling places, recruiting election workers, and allowing voters a safe way to exercise their right to vote. If you don't move your May 2nd election, you are subjecting voters to health risks and potential criminal violations. Failure to postpone your election will put your election at severe risk for an election contest.
No, the governor orders that we had to stay away from it until April 30th.
Right, it says that if we postpone the election, that we have to give notice to the voters, which we will be doing, notice to the county election officer. We'll post a notice at our polling location, and we also have to notify the Secretary of State. We have prepared an ordinance, and I will just read it, I guess. Ordinance number 125G-A, an ordinance postponing the May 2nd, 2020 election to November 3, 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Be it ordained by the City of Log Cabin City Council, Section 1, a postponement of the May 2nd, 2020 election to the November 3, 2020 uniform election date is hereby ordered due to the COVID-19 pandemic. On January 16, 2020, the council approved ordinance number 125G, calling for an election on May 2nd, 2020 for the purpose of electing 3 councilpersons. Subsequent to that approval, a declaration of pandemic regarding COVID-19 was declared by the President of the United States, Governor of the State of Texas, the County of Henderson, and the City of Log Cabin. The Secretary of State of the State of Texas advised local political subdivisions with elections on May 2nd, 2020 that the Governor had issued a proclamation provisions of the Texas Election Code to postpone their election 2020 uniform election, the authority to postpone the election. Section 2, the cancellation date. Section 3, all ABBMs, absentee voter, for voters that are voting by mail due to being over the age of 65 or due to disability will still be valid for the postponed election, and the ABBMs for voters who submitted ABBMs based on expected absence from the county will not be valid for the postponed election. The major relevant dates for the November include the following: voter registration deadline. Deadline to submit an ABM is October 23, and dates for early voting will be October 9 date. Notice will also be provided to the county election. The mayor is hereby instructed to cause such notices to be given. I'll entertain a motion to approve this ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 125G-A.
Second.
Jennifer Williams has made the motion, seconded by John Perkins. Any other discussion? Comments? All in favor? Unanimously passed. Okay. Now, all right. All right. I'm skipping 7 and 8 for the moment. Water payment fees. At our last meeting, we discussed that the extension fees and the past due fees would be considered on a case-by-case basis. Since that time, several utilities have said that they will be charging those fees. I am open for discussion about this if we want to still go by case basis. I personally don't know anybody that's lost their job because of this. We know that seniors will be getting their payments as usual. So, do you want to continue to do it on a case-by-case basis?
First of all, it's been already said legally we cannot shut their water off during May 31st, regardless.
Yes, we cannot turn their water off, but we can, however we can.
I just want to make sure that we haven't already shut somebody's water off.
No, we have not. And just for that reason, I mean, we're not trying to be meanies, we're just trying to collect the money that's due us and to encourage people to continue paying their bills. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to charge those fees to,
I'm okay with the case by case. I think Elisa is gonna be our best judge. She knows who is habitually late and who, and I think if they have proof, I mean, regardless, whether or not, say they can't pay their bill this month, they can't pay it in May, they have to realize they still have to make those payments.
Right.
That bill is still there.
It's still there.
Not
That's
their
true.
money,
Pay it.
they still have to pay it.
that's true.
But
And we've been trying to make that clear to people when they ask that question. So are you going to waive your fees? Well,
I
no,
mean, I would,
at this point, no.
at case by case, like if somebody can provide proof that they lost their job because of all this, I mean, I'm okay with waiving the extension fee for it all. And maybe for it,
But again, on a case
on
by
a case
case.
by case basis.
Everybody kind of in agreement on that? I don't think we have to vote on it. I think we just need agreement of the council. That we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to ask also, because we are asked all the time.
We could have some type of application or something like that to waive
Well-
them, that way they can provide proof that there is something there for them to fill out and to attach proof.
There is, when, for court, for citation, if they say that they can't do it and they want to go on payments, there is a form that they have to fill out. How much they bring in, who's their employer, and all of those kinds of things, and we could do that.
But I think Elisa would be the most beneficial and helpful with that, because she's been in this office longer than any of us. So she's seen, she knows, and.
And
so-
she's the one that keeps asking. You know, she brought me something from,
But I think we need to let her know that we value her
Oh,
advice
absolutely.
on that, because she will be able to tell us.
absolutely, and I do that about every day.
So, no, I mean, we won't shut anybody's water off because we legally can't, but they are still responsible for that building by the end of May 31st.
Or until the Public Utilities Commission says we can't shut it off.
Is there anything on that form that gives us permission to contact them employees?
I truly don't know. Lisa does it all the time, but
That's a good
but
question,
that's-
because like, for instance,
Yes.
I don't know anybody in here in my field, but for the aides that are PRN, they have drastically lost a lot of wages because they can't go into a lot of facilities. While they're still working some, they're not at their full potential. So they're still struggling. So whenever we get that information, I think that's a good idea to contact their employer, because then we can get it right from the horse's mouth.
yes,
Just something on the form where they sign that gives us permission to contact their employee.
That's what Rodney just asked.
I mean,
you
yeah.
just asked if, so, if not, we can put it on there. I mean, we'll have to make up our own form. We can't use the court form, but we can use something like that.
In my line of work, anytime we have an employment application, that verbiage is on there.
Yes.
Do you, by signing this, you give us authority to contact your previous employee and so on and so forth. And I think that if we're just gonna be fair across the board, that needs to be there. Just, if
Yes,
you're gonna do it on a case by case.
right. We're gonna do it on a case-by-case basis.
I think Jennifer brought up a good point. Just the fact that if they don't pay it, it's still there. And something that I just think they need to think about is that if they don't pay a water bill for 3 months, and then the next month you have what we call the back charge plus this month, and if you can't pay it, you're gonna incur late fees. So that debt could possibly get insurmountable to something.
Because at what point do we, 6 months down the road, then they haven't paid for 6 months, what point are we gonna start? So
Well,
we have to be very,
I personally am of the opinion that they should pay as much as they can. If they can't pay the whole bill, how much can you pay?
right,
And that's what we need to find out. How much can you pay? And Elisa's got that verbiage down. She snaps it right out. So she knows how to ask people that, and it's not offensive when she does it. Here's the form. I need you to fill out this form. You need to pay as much as you can. Let's, what can you afford? kind of thing.
and I think while we're in the not being able to shut it off legally, we don't do the extension pay. So I am okay with not doing the extension fees for that reason, but I think the late fee should still be there, because regardless, they're gonna be paying it.
Do you want to make a motion to that effect?
Well, he started to say something first.
Well, and I don't know if you want to go this far or not, but if somebody is continually making a payment, whether it's full or not, then that account is basically open. And I don't know if on a good faith effort, if they've lost their job and it's like, okay, well, I can't pay the $20 this month or what have you, then at least they're in good standing and making an effort. So do you want to charge them a late fee on all of that because they're doing everything they possibly can?
I agree. So we could say something to the effect of, if you pay something on it, there won't be a late fee. And then do away with or not charge the extension fees at all. But like you said, if they're making an effort to pay, then we won't be late fee. But if they're returning.
Okay, we have a motion on to eliminate the extension fee until further action by the council, and to also eliminate the people are making a good faith effort to make a monthly payment. So, do I have a second?
I did.
Jennifer made the
All right,
motion.
I'll second.
Rodney made the second. Any other discussion? All in favor? We have a unanimous vote. Okay, thank you for that. City park and restroom use. At the present time, we have closed the restrooms at the park because there is no way for us to keep them sanitized. And that's one area where any kind of virus or whatever is going to propagate because it's dark and damp. So we have closed those. The porta potties are still there for public use, I guess, if they want to use them.
That's even worse than the
I know it's
bathroom.
worse.
So they
Sounds
need to be
worse.
closed too. I
But
mean,
you can, I don't think that you can leave them open.
if you're gonna close the others, then, because that's even worse. There really is no sanitation.
Are they're on city property, correct?
Mhm.
And so they fall under your jurisdiction, correct?
That's true.
We pay for
That's true. We
And
pay for them.
so
We
if
pay for
somebody, I'm not saying, but if somebody says that they got it because of this, then that makes you liable, doesn't it?
Yes.
I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
know. I don't know.
Because those are worse than the regular bathrooms. You could sanitize the regular bathrooms even once a day and they'd still be cleaner than the porta johns. So, I think that we need to close the porta johns too, if we're gonna close the regular bathrooms.
Do we send them back?
Yeah,
So for,
To further notice?
till we order them back?
Do we have to pay delivery for everything?
until we're,
No, I think we just ask them to pick them up.
well, either
They may
way.
wait it, but
They come here on Monday to pump them out anyway, so they can pick them up on Monday. I'm assuming. Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we remove the portable toilets.
I'll second.
Didn't we already do this a few months ago? To remove the quarter pot down in the park, and so we were just gonna use the restrooms?
Yeah, it was contingent upon something and I don't remember, and then something happened in it.
It was previous administration.
It was me, we voted on it.
Yeah, it was us, yeah, before,
To move them.
to
To
remove
remove them.
yeah, it was us.
I mean,
Then we will,
I seconded.
I think, when we will have to readdress this when we want to bring them back. So we will talk about it. The next thing in your packet is a copy of the envelope that we have for the fees at the park. We are asking if, where the third one down says day pass per car, $7, and each person over 5 add $1. We are proposing that for each car or vehicle that goes in, that it be just $5. And we don't nitpick people. Well, I mean, we're already saying that if the day pass to walk in, we'd like to keep that at $1, but we'd like to take this $7 and this $1 off and just say $5. And the reason we're asking this at this point in time is that we have to order these envelopes, like right now, in order to get them down there. And people are using those envelopes.
I saw them this weekend, so.
They, we took a lot of money in this past weekend. So just from the voters and also from people getting day passes. So that's what we would like to do. So I'll, and that we change that fee.
But the people who have stickers, they're good through May, till May, then we have to get new ones, correct?
I think May 1st
Okay.
is when they expire. Yes.
I make a motion that we change the price for a day pass per car to $5 and take away that each person over the age of 5, $1, add $1.
I'll say,
Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay. We have a unanimous vote. The next item is the lease for New Hope Ministries. They have finished all of the required things that we asked them to do. And so this lease agreement is for 4 years, commencing April 1st and terminating March 31st, 2024. The amount of $300 per month. Everything else is pretty standard language.
Is the water and everything been paid on the deposits?
Yes, all deposits are up to date.
I'll make a motion for it.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Was there a sidewalk that was supposed to be,
Was that one?
there a sidewalk that was supposed to be forward, wasn't
That's a inside door.
it? Has that been done?
No, it wasn't, it's not required.
We're not going.
It was not required. We checked into that. As long as they are able to, as long as it's firm ground, then they're able to push a wheelchair over or have a walk, or walk by a walker, with a walker, so that they can get from that back entrance around to the front. So it's not important. So I know they changed that, how they get out that road. So it is handicap accessible. But we did, we did have an inspector come and look at all of it. He agreed that that was okay. So. Okay. We have a motion on the floor to accept the lease for New Hope Ministries for a term of 4 years. Any other discussion? All in favor? We have a unanimous vote. Okay. Actually, she's going to chew on this. Okay. At the last meeting, we gave you some information from Verizon. And since we have the audit going on right now and all of this extra stuff that we're doing regarding the COVID-19, we're just asking that we keep this tabled to future meetings. So we won't even we're not going to discuss that. The next item is an offer to purchase property, all of the commercial property on the north side of 3054. 3054. Okay, so it is all of the frontage property from this corner to the church and past the church to Cajun's.
On that side of the room.
On that side of the road. There are 71 lots there. Okay,
How many acres?
10 acres, 10.73 acres. That, if you divide his offer of $25,000 by 71, you get $350 a month.
I'm more interested in that. We're getting 2,500 in that.
Commercial property.
Is this saying the entire 10 acres is appraised at 37,460?
Yes.
Really states we can't ask what he's gonna do with it.
Pardon?
But it really states we can't ask what he's going
No,
to do
we
with it.
can't. We cannot.
Can't do what?
We can't ask what he's gonna do with it.
I'm assuming that he's gonna buy it as a parcel and he's gonna parcel it off. Eventually. What I don't want to happen is that he buy it and sit on it for 10 years. Like the other side of the street.
How did we go down in value?
Because of the city. I mean, our taxes are, it's just the city.
Evidently, the value of everything went down. comes from the appraisal district is the one that sets up.
I understand. And
You know, and that's crazy, whatever they do. Okay, any kind of discussion?
it's pretty cheap. What is that zone? You know?
It's commercial. It's on commercial.
Twenty-three, 29.
Is there water and sewer over there anywhere? Ken?
The church has it.
Are we supplying to the church?
Yes, yes. Yes. And I know that water, that there are water lines all over in section 14. Sewer lines, I don't know. And I know that, we have sewer at least going down to all of the, well, we're looking down there. But we're all on our colors.
I'm just trying to see if I can find some information on that.
$2,300 or whatever the judge had said, correct, especially on that road. Pretty cheap. You turn around and
Do we
look
want,
at,
do we want to negotiate? Didn't he originally offer something else?
evidently, because that's a revised bid. You can, you can look at the fact that it's, okay, you could take the $25,000, which obviously we could use, and then think that, okay, well, they're gonna have to have water and sewer, so there's revenue. But then again, is he just looking at it as an investment, and he's gonna sit on it for however long, and he's only gonna be taxed on 25,000, or, no, he'll still be taxed on 30, he'll tax on tax.
And he knows it's a commercial line. He knows it's not residential.
We haven't had that kind of situation. That's my way.
I was just kind of, but yeah, because that would be a bigger point if he's actually just trying to build a home there and he knows it doesn't have commercial.
I don't know what he knows, because this,
I don't know how
this
far-
came by email.
And this,
Well, I
so,
should email it in.
so for Henderson County, and this is, all it's going up is, you know, residential, but even at that, for 11 acres, it's 76,000, and it's not on water or anything like that. It's just unapproved land like that, and that's not commercial, that's residential, so I think that's a little low. I think it's too cheap. Not knowing what he's gonna do with it, I mean, like you said, we have to take into, they can hear that static.
Yeah, maybe give them cell phone or something, yes.
Did they, ours have been sitting with it, I was gonna say, they haven't,
But if anybody's calling, give a text message, see how it's flat.
But taking it, like he said, into consideration,
And let me just tell you that the 11 acres that was bought down by the lake, you know where I'm talking, went for 75,000.
is that commercial?
No, it was residential.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is not even on the water. On the water, it's even more.
Well, it wasn't on the water, I mean, it's not on the water,
Right.
but it was residential and it went for $75,000. So we're talking 10 acres of commercial property.
Right there with that.
And we're talking like 1/3 of what was paid for residential. So, do we want to negotiate with him? Do we want to say we reject it, ask him to come back with another?
We can negotiate.
We always need to negotiate,
Okay.
but
And we can't ask that, and I hate
I
that.
understand that.
Right, but that helps me make a decision because everybody else that's ever wanted anything has just been forthcoming about what they want to do. But, and he lives in Ennis, so he's not building a house there.
So he must know.
Well,
It's on, I mean,
any,
faces on a street and it's long.
any property on a county, well, on anybody with some common sense would know that you're not, and who would want to? I mean,
Yeah. No, I'm gonna build on a really busy street. Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
I don't think you ought to take less than $5,000. That's just my opinion.
Anybody else have any input?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. I need a motion that we are rejecting this offer.
I make a motion that we reject the offer and that we look to see what we need to do to count and negotiate.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded that we reject this offer, but that we see what we can do to negotiate a more favorable offer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous vote. The next one we have is another offer to purchase. And these are properties that are on, one is on the corner, the 342 and 343 is the corner of Davy Crockett and Sam Houston. And then the other, no, yes, and then the other three are on Tom Hickman. They are all lots that have creeks running through them. They are, if someone wanted to build there they would need to bring in a whole lot of fuel. The people who are offering on these lots are out of Missouri. And the reason I really know that is because they offered to buy one of my lots, which has a creek flowing through it. I don't know why they would want it. But this company is buying up property, all kinds of property. So what we have here is 5 lots, $500 a lot.
Will be done. What is the 2K?
That means that it is on the tax rolls for $2,000. So, it is,
What are the size of these lots?
I'm sure that they're single family, so they're about 50 by 150. They're on that map. Section 11.
Those 3 right there and then those 2.
Right. Can you see how, the dimensions are on there? Can you see what the dimensions are of each lot?
Probably like 75 by 90, maybe
Okay.
50. No, 75.
How about the 3 lots that are together on the other street?
Well, that's what I was looking
Oh,
at.
is that what you're looking at?
And like 75 by, well, maybe 150, maybe 75 for 150. I mean, they're all pretty much the same except that corner, but by the time you shave the polygon, put it back over.
Right. Okay, so. So he's offering $500 a lot. Okay. Thoughts? Or I'll entertain a motion to accept it or to reject it.
I do too.
We'll go back to them. They countered after we rejected it last time for 250, from up to 500. But again, the value on those lots is $2,000.
But so hypothetically, let's just say that we wanted $1,000 a lot. And I realize their value is $2,000. But if they build a house, then that's the gift that keeps giving.
Right, but also, we aren't taking in any tax money at this point on these lots at all. The city owns them. So even if they didn't purchase, if the house, like right away, we still would be getting some income.
But
Yes.
we don't need to cut our throats. either.
No, I don't want it to say, I don't want to think people, I don't want people to think that they can just come in here and rip us off. But we don't know anything, but you're right. If they were to build on it, and these are improved lots, they have water and sewer to them. Run right by all of those properties, so,
I mean, the gentleman that bought the property there on Davy Crockett, River Creek, Wood Street, you know, that little, carport is,
Mhm.
and it's got the creek back there. He paid a lot more than that for his, so.
okay, shall we just, do you want to continue to negotiate with this gentleman, with this entity?
So if you told them that they're on the tax roll for 2,000 a lot, but would be willing to take 1,500, then more than likely, you're only gonna get 1,000.
That's what I was saying, 1,500.
Yeah, he will, he's not gonna pay.
Right, but that's what the number was in my head. Was 1,500.
We don't wanna count.
So we can just go back to him and say that we know that each of those properties is on the tax roll for $2,000. See what he comes back with.
I would go in the, on the tax roll for 2,000, but I would take 1,500.
That's what I was thinking.
And don't take any off.
Well, let him come back. If he goes with 1,000, we're okay with that. But let's counter offer with 1,500 a lot.
I think if you just tell him that they're on the tax roll for 2,000 and leave it at that, then, okay, well, he may come back at
750 a lot.
maybe,
And
and
then we'll
then
go back and
we're
forth.
just going back and forth. And I think that if you tell him that,
If our improved lots already too, so
That-
that's one.
and that's a good point,
So let's-
that they are improved lots, they have water and sewer, I guess they probably have electricity or close.
The lines are going by.
So, but they're improved lots, they've got water and sewer, they're on the tax roll for 2,000, but we take 1,500. If he comes back at 1,000, that's another discussion, I guess, but I'd probably take it. And then, but if he comes back at something else, then forget it.
I don't want nickel and dime this for 3 years.
Nobody else can offer yet.
Well, I know, but like I said, we don't want to cut our throats either.
All right, I need a motion to that.
I make a motion that we counter offer with, they're on the rolls for 2,000 and they'll take 1,500.
Is there a second? Okay, Jessica, second. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item. By the way, most of these items are from the March meeting that we never had, so that's where it seems to be so much here. Okay, the next one is the request to purchase a lawnmower. We have 3 bids, 3 prices.
Okay, one question. Last week we discussed not spending it on stuff like that if we didn't need to, so what changed?
The mower that they've been using broke down again, and it took an hour and a half to fix it. Mowing time.
Okay,
And we did We did put this in the budget, but
Why does it have to be a John Deere? Because Lowe's has another zero, this is zero turn, correct? That's cheaper than that, but it's really good. So why?
Is it a 48 or 62?
I don't know.
I mean, that's
Is that the difference?
where you're getting into the
Okay.
money. Is the
Yeah,
bigger
exactly.
difference.
Okay.
Which I agree, because as much as they mow, they need to cut.
Right, no,
Much.
that's
But-
why I'm asking.
But how many do we have? I thought we had two.
We got a zero turn, we have a tractor.
Oh, so we only have one more basically.
one riding mower.
And do we know, did the engine go, blow? Do we have any idea?
It's been repaired at least 3 times in the last couple of months, I mean, since mowing season started also. And he got.
What is it? Do we know? Is it?
he had
It's a zero-
Hustler.
Yeah,
Oh, is it?
it's a Hustler.
He bought it at
Zero
Lowe's
turn.
Yeah, it's
4
It's a
years
zero
ago.
Yeah, we got it at Lowe's for a real good price. There's not a commercial mower, and it didn't last.
So is it like a Toro or something? Or
Hustler.
a Husky?
Now, Lowe's gave us a really good deal on it, so we bought it. It wasn't a commercial brand. So it was very nice.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Well, the only thing that could be wrong with it is the motor. Well, the steering, but we don't know.
It stops
So that means there's something wrong with it. I understand, I understand, but, I mean, we're trying not to, whether it's in the budget or not.
Right.
We're trying not to, we might need that money for something else. I'm just curious as to what it would cost to just put another motor.
We can certainly think.
And it, I don't know, it may be $2,000. I don't know, but
My ag turf is at the place on the roof.
that's John Deere.
Yeah,
Is it John Deere? Okay, just making sure I was thinking of something, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. that- So it must be the exact same. It is, it's the exact
I think
same
he's,
motor.
yeah, I think he's,
The John Deere. I was curious why those prices were exactly the same.
well, we could definitely find out about replacing the motor. If that is, because I don't know exactly what he's done. All I know is it took him an hour and 45 minutes.
Let's think it might be worthwhile just to at least make a phone call.
And find out why it has to be a John Deere, because there's other good brands.
Okay. Then, would you like to table that to our next meeting?
Our next meeting's done. In 2 weeks, right? With the,
I make a motion that we table purchase of the lawnmower to get a bid how much it's gonna cost to repair or replace the current lawnmower that we have.
Second.
And find out why it has to be repaired.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Okay. We were asked to consider changing our animal control ordinance to allow the raising of chickens in the city. Initially it was precipitated by us not knowing how long people were going to be having to follow the regulations for the COVID-19. And that Jessica did a poll on the forum page. She got like 38 yeses and
Over 50.
50 yeses. And like 3 no's. Do you want to elaborate a little bit?
So I talked to several citizens and I've done a whole bunch of, talking to people and doing some research from other cities. And I don't see why we can't have chickens, not roosters. And I had sent Nancy a proposed ordinance, I don't sit in here, but for up to 5 hens, only 5. I think that would be more than okay. No roam free, but they have to get a permit, has to be inspected to make sure that it's gonna be suitable for the up to 5. I don't want something like as small as this table for 5 hens if you did it. And make sure they abide by all the nuisance regulations that are in our ordinances, because smells could be a nuisance, and if they don't upkeep the chickens and they don't upkeep what they're supposed to do, then that could be a violation of the ordinance. But that's just what I have came up with and the citizens had agreed with.
Why are we chicken?
I think I brought it to the last
Eggs.
meeting. I wanted to eggs. That's a lot of what the citizens want. They want to be able to have their own eggs.
Because they can't raise them for meat because you can't slaughter them
Yeah, now
in the city, in the
Yeah.
ordinance.
in the ordinance I had put that you can't.
And it
slaughter
says, and
animals
it
and
also
everything like
says
that
right in
the-
here. in
Yeah, I
our
haven't read
ordinance.
this one. sorry.
Well, our ordinance says that. Right now, you have page 11. Right now, this is what our ordinance says. At the bottom, this is all it says about even the sale or possession of certain animals and the prohibited animals, and it specifically says chickens and roosters. And that's in A, and then in C, it says the exceptions are
For FFA or 4-H.
the FFA 4-H school project, raising rabbits or chickens, with the exception only until the Henderson County Fair show ends.
That needs to be adjusted though,
Yeah,
because we have to have the rabbit show around, because we do 4 shows a year. It's not just for the month of April, or March, when we do the Henderson County show. So that needs to be adjusted.
And we didn't have a show.
Well, it says-
We still have them.
I mean, we have a show in September, October, January, and April, every year. I'm not gonna get rid of them in March, just to
And you
have to
could
give
show
them
them
again
multiple
in
years.
August. So that needs to be adjusted.
Okay.
it's not, I'm not gonna get rid of my prize-winning rabbits at the end of one show, when they can continue to show them.
You can show rabbits for, I think, 3 years.
They only live
And then chickens are the same, chickens are the same way, you can show them up to 3 years. I'm learning all this new stuff.
Well, we're all learning new stuff.
Yeah.
So, those of you who know about all of this kind of stuff, if we need to change this, then you need to help us by giving us verbiage to rewrite it.
There shouldn't be a time period, like, for example, Jason said that just make sure you have a sign, plus we have our documentation from FFA when we sign up.
Yeah.
And 4-H, they give you the documents, but I have a sign posted on the rabbit page that says,
Show animals or something.
yes, we're used this FFA.
Beware of rabbit.
She is mean. Anyway, so I have scars from where I tried to cut her nails. Anyway, so, but I don't, there shouldn't be a time limit on it is what I'm saying. You can't, it should not say at the end of the Henderson County Fair.
Well,
Because
I can say that I was part of that one, for it to be exception to the Henderson County Fair, because I was with Rodney when I worked with it, because I thought at the end of it, and this ordinance was done to pay them to do his rabbit. And I thought at that time that it would be over at that time frame, until I realized they don't stop, no, so you have to keep them continuously. So, but that does need to be taken out.
I mean,
You can
yes.
do them year round.
we do have an option to sell them at the end of our shows, the ones that get first place and whatnot, but especially rabbits, we don't typically sell them because we're not doing market rabbits, we're doing breeding rabbits. We keep them, right, like when there's.
So we could just, so we really could just,
Take out afterwards.
just
rabbits,
put
chickens.
chickens, period, and take the rest of that out, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Rabbits, yeah.
yeah, versus raising rabbits or chickens and then take the rest of it out, that way.
Well, okay. So I'm interested to hear what the rest,
But
I,
back to the
no,
hens.
but I want to, we need to go back, okay, well, we can redo this part of this one until we get ahead.
My rabbits are still sitting on my porch.
I'm listening to all of this, and every once in a while, an airplane flies by and you don't. But I was thinking, in whatever you put in there, that you need to sell the chickens before they die and the eggs before they hatch.
We can't have can't hatch your chickens in.
You don't get it.
Because
You
you.
don't It's a song by Junior Brown. and-
Oh, okay. Okay.
How about we table it?
Table with parts.
The
Raising the chicken.
animal control regarding chickens until we get verbiage from our people on this.
Oh, well, all they gotta do is take out that line.
Well, we
But as
can-
far as what we're really discussing is if we want to allow the citizens to have 5 chickens in a coop, they can't roam free. They have to keep the area clean. In other words, clean up the chicken coop from underneath and not just let it build and smell. And no roosters. We need to decide if we want to accept for the citizens to be able to do that.
We will write an ordinance for you to review before they're allowed to do that, because we still have to, they'll have to be permitted, they'll have to get a permit to do it. There will be,
I also had
There will
another,
be a
the proposed
fine.
ordinance about it, that needs to also said that it couldn't be within a certain amount of feet of somebody else's residence. If you
Right.
want a property line building right next to somebody's house.
Right.
That wouldn't be in favor. So there's
Right.
some, I think I put 20 feet in there, the one that I think.
there's, yeah, and I had another one
There's the one.
that's similar that had, I can't remember what this one. But we can put together another one for our next meeting. If this is something that you want to pursue. Yes. You want to pursue it?
I want to pursue it. I make a motion that we pursue getting hens up to 5 with certain stipulations in the city of Log Cabin.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor? All right, unanimous.
So we'll get to read the ordinance before we.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We will.
So you can't, if anybody's watching live, don't run out and get chickens right now, wait for us to pass the ordinance first.
We are only discussing this at this point. All right. So you might, Jesse, you might want to post on the forum when you get home.
I will.
That we are discussing that.
The other lady across the street from me, she did have a stuff in her house, but not for.
All right. We are now at the noise ordinance regarding band instruments. And all of this was pretty much precipitated by an exchange on the forum page that was not very respectful, quite uncivilized. And personally, I had not read the whole thing until it was pointed out to me that band instruments are banned, is that right?
Yes, it says band instruments.
It says band
Well,
instruments
it says musical instruments and drums.
and drums, okay. So some of us have discussed this a little bit. And we are living in extraordinary times. When I became mayor, when I ran for mayor, I did not expect to be in the position I am now, making the kinds of decisions that I am now. And I'm sure that everybody in this room never thought that they would be asked to stay in their house and limit the number of times they got in their car and went somewhere, went into a store. Parents who never in their life thought that they were going to be homeschooling their kids. So we have to take a look at this and decide what it is we can do to help the parents who have their band kids at home and that they're being, they're supposed to be practicing for an hour a day. And how they're going to be able to do that and pass those requirements for those classes. And to let our citizens know that if for some reason they are being disturbed by anything, that they should let us know. Hopefully, that's not going to be the case. But there is, in this ordinance, there is a variance to what can happen. We don't want anybody practicing their instrument and having it hooked up to a sound system that's going to vibrate the whole neighborhood. I think everybody here would agree that that would be a reasonable thing to ask. I had a son that played there. When he first started, you couldn't tell what he was playing. But he got to be first chair. So, in his practice, but we made sure that when he practiced, that it was in a place that was appropriate and that black do it. And the other extreme of do it anytime you want, in any way that you want, let's find a common ground for what we can do. How can we advise people of what they can do? What can we as a council do?
I
Sir,
have a question.
sir,
I don't have any kids at home. So would it be possible to designate between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock? That's not possible.
No, because.
And I don't know, that's why I'm
And
asking.
the reason why I'm saying that is with them being homeschooled right now, like yesterday, Cody had a conference with his teacher from 12 to 1.
Okay.
And different classes require different times during the day.
Okay.
So subjecting it to just 1 hour a day is not always gonna be feasible. If we say between, the hours of 8 to 5 or something like that, but we can't just say from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they can do that.
Okay.
Because that's not gonna be. And we also have to adjust this 50 feet thing. I mean, a lot of these open mobile homes, I can step on my porch and hear somebody's TV 2 houses down. So.
or you can be inside and
Right.
hear it.
Exactly, just like I said a while ago, and I can stand in my front yard on a Friday night during football season and hear Malakoff High School band marching on the field. So, we can't, I mean,
And my other thought is if we try to look at this now and say, okay, just for this circumstance, till the end of May when they're out of school, they can play it during this time frame. It doesn't help the fact of the ones that they still have to practice throughout the summer.
How they do it now?
My kid has to sit in his bedroom and the other one in his other bedroom and have to do it because I don't want to offend anybody. And Caden plays 3 instruments. He plays the saxophone, the guitar, and the violin. Because that's how Caden deals with his depression. So, if he ever wanted to do it in the backyard while his brothers who play a completely different instrument and they don't, you should hear it, it's pretty interesting when they're playing 2 different instruments. I don't want to offend somebody and say I'm breaking the law because my son is outside on the back porch, on the front porch, playing his saxophone or his guitar. Because Caden has guitar lessons every week too, and he has saxophone, and he has violin lessons every week. So, and he does this every week, all year long.
I mean, I look at it as, I have neighbors, and I know my neighbor very well. And he plays his music when he's working up the yard. It doesn't bother me. He can play his music, I hear it. But, I mean, we're not trying to say that they should be able to play it for 12 hours straight and all hours of the night. We're just asking for,
Like 9 to 6, not even 8 in the morning. Some people are so sleepy.
well, yeah, I mean, I was just giving a.
Well, I just wanted to know if, number one, if it was possible. I didn't, because I don't know. I think that, yes, you limit it to, or you do it like 8 and 10, we'll be there between 10 and 12 on
Right.
Friday.
And we're all,
So, okay. But the other part of this that is giving me a little heartburn is we have previously, we've eased up on the water bill, and we're easing up on the chicken. But now then, we want to prevent these kids from furthering the school or what have you.
well,
Well, no, I don't.
this should have never been put in there for kids not to be able to practice.
I'm just saying
Right. I
that
mean,
right
that-
now,
This was from 2006. So.
right now, we've eased up to make things better for people. but now then we're wanting to hold this.
No, the whole purpose of this discussion is to ease up on this.
So
So
my
that's what
point
we
is,
need to
right
do.
now,
Right
they
now,
can't do it.
they do it outside and they disturb somebody. Yes, they are.
If we're gonna do
Breaking
stuff-
our law.
If we're doing stuff to help, we need to be consistent.
This needs to be done year round, not just while we're under COVID-19, because this is something that kids, Cody does it in his room anyways. It's not like he's gonna be out on the porch blasting people. But we should, there is no way that we should get a ticket for our child practicing their instrument. I mean,
I agree.
if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, they're standing on the front porch and they're annoying the neighbors, that's different. But if it's,
Yeah.
yeah, right, but I'm saying, I mean, this doesn't have any time frame, so.
No, and that's kind of what I'd like to,
Year round.
that's what I'd like to
Is
put.
that what you were saying, Rodney?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And so we need to come to a consensus about what we think that timeframe should be. And I think that we might also consider the coming together of people who, so we're talking about individuals now, okay, but how about ensembles?
As long as you're 6 feet from each other.
Yeah, well now, but, I mean, if we're gonna revise this to provide for future, I don't wanna keep revising the noise ordinance every other month, just because somebody else has a different kind of problem, you know? So if we can address all of that now, it would be really helpful.
You're saying if Paige wants to start a band?
If you wanted to start a band, then I'm gonna suggest that we have a place at the Red Barn that's accessible, it's a smaller area that we could make accessible to the community to practice. Parents could take their kids down. We wouldn't want them to be unsupervised, but what if they had wanted to do it together? And we're not gonna do that during COVID-19, but if we're talking about future, let's talk about, can we provide a place for that to happen? Right now, we have a place. And certainly, we want them to be practicing their instruments and not going out and breaking into places.
Right, so, and they have to video it also, so.
Okay. So, let's talk timeframe between 9 and 4. Is that unrealistic? You who have, you're gonna have to advise us because you're the ones who have
I
children.
know Hayden has guitar lessons at 6:30 in the evening.
So he has his lesson.
He goes to his lessons in Athens, but then he has to practice every day at home.
They play an acoustic or like,
Bass, but acoustic, yes.
Uh.
I don't know.
It's electric.
It's
The bass
electric.
Guitar is
It's a-
electric,
A bass guitar.
which
I'm
is
not
not
even
hooked up to an amp. And
Which
this-
he,
Uh-uh,
I don't know, it's
Do you
really,
have-
not bass, not an acoustic.
I just know it's a bass and I paid for it and I paid for it. Guitar
Because,
down.
because you
I
have
don't
it at a
believe you have
certain,
an acoustic.
level.
Give it a turn level, and he has to have it on
So,
and
unless
up.
you-
for
I mean,
his
if you know of
lesson.
one, but I've never heard of seen her one, so, because of the how deep the bass is, it's usually electric. I've never seen an acoustic bass, so,
I don't know,
okay.
I just paid for it.
okay, so, all right. Let's do the time thing.
I think if you do it from 9 to 4, my kid's not even home from school yet, we're gonna do that. Let's say if it goes to August, my kid's not even home from school yet, because sometimes they don't even get home till 5:30.
I see when school goes back.
If
into
school
regular
starts back
session.
in
I get
August,
what
my,
you're saying.
my kid won't even be back.
If we're looking
And home
long,
till 5:30.
long term, we need to address it for both. What's the noise curfew now?
10 o'clock or midnight on weekends.
I don't know, 7 or 8.
I think
Right now, it's just based on residential, parameters and over time. If someone calls and said, there's some phone noise down there.
I thought there was.
10 p.m.
Time of day, 10 p.m.
From 10 to 7.
So it is 10 to 7, 10
10 p.m.
p.m.
to 7
to
a.m.
7 a.m. I think 10 p.m. is too late.
I think it's too late.
Well, they're just
Can
giving you decibels, but I'm still having a little problem there.
With,
Well, okay. So, your son was taking guitar lessons. And he probably, if it's either acoustic or electric, he may have a
It does happen.
okey-dokey. But that amp up to 400 decibels.
No, it's turned up. He only uses it mainly for his current virtual guitar lessons because so his instructor can hear him playing properly.
Okay, and so how annoying is that when his door is shut and you're out of the room? Oh, really?
Mobile home walls are thinner than regular home walls.
Okay, well, I was just.
If I'm in my bedroom, I can't hear him. But if I'm in the kitchen, I can hear him well. Because his room is right next to the kitchen.
Okay,
But you can't hear it outside.
I guess that's what I'm trying to
Oh, yeah,
say.
you can't hear it outside. He doesn't turn it up extremely loud. My speakerphone on my phone, I can probably hear people all the way outside. But in the room, right in, I can't hear it. And it turns up.
I mean, I'm thinking that this is not as big an issue as what is being made out of here. Okay, so I'm thinking, and I'm not, there's one wall between where I'm at and where my wife is watching TV, and it's probably 30 feet. And never comes to turn that stuff.
And your neighbor probably can hear you.
No.
Reason why it's an issue is because it says that they're not allowed to be operated or permitted to be played.
Okay,
That's why we're addressing it now.
I understand. I'm just trying to use a little common sense. That's all I'm
I
trying
just
to
don't
say.
want to take it.
Huh?
I just don't want to take it.
okay, back to the time. Ordinance says 10 to 7. 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
I don't think any earlier than 9 in the morning. I think if you say that people will start getting their drums at 7 in the morning. But I don't think it's too late at
Do
9.
we know how many kids in the band?
A lot.
There's a lot,
A lot.
Off the top of my head, I know that there's,
6 or 7 for sure.
I know 9 off the top, just the top of my head of kids that I know.
Okay, so not 50.
And they're spread out.
That's just the ones that I personally know because they don't know. Or Justin.
But they're all not gonna be doing it at the same time, obviously.
None of them.
But I'll say if we do it from, like, say, 10 to 8, I think that's plenty of time. 10 in the morning to 8 at night, I think that's a good time frame for them to practice their instrument. Whether that's Monday or Friday or Sunday, or whatever they just can practice it.
That sound reasonable?
Sorry?
Does that sound reasonable?
It does to me, I mean,
Because I think we're changing, so band instruments are allowed.
Or we could just make it as part of the public noise complaint and take out the fact that banning. It's either way, if you're being too loud or being something too loud, it's still part of
It's
the
still
noise
part of it.
violation.
It's still part of it.
The instruments themselves are not prohibited. The only time it's an issue is if a citizen makes a complaint, say that they are being disturbed. So the town really doesn't have, we've got some issues going on right now where there's an adult playing drums during the daytime. And if a citizen calls the police and says, this guy's disturbing my peace, we have to act on that, regardless of those times.
So it doesn't matter if we put a time in here for musical instruments.
Correct. Because they're not prohibited.
Because here's the thing. You, at 7 in the morning, they can start blaring their radio outside, but you can't play an instrument.
Well, if
I
you're
mean-
offended, you can follow the complaint.
No, but I'm saying if it doesn't need to have a time frame because, I mean,
So,
I don't see
should we
any of
just,
these kids getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning to play their instruments.
no,
So
so,
far, it hasn't been a problem. We haven't had any issues. With children, we've had an issue with adults. We're gonna have any issues
with children, correct.
But the longer we're home, the more that's gonna be done, so it just,
So what you're saying is it doesn't matter if this is in here or not, if somebody calls, that the person's gonna get a ticket for noise violation.
They have a right to follow complaint in municipal court.
So do we need to just,
And that's what we're doing. The police officer's not coming out there and saying that they're offended, here's your citation.
Right.
A citizen actually has to come into City Hall, sign an affidavit, promise to appear in court, and that person is the complainant in municipal court against the person creating the disturbance.
But if we put in here that you're allowed to play a musical instrument or drums between this time frame, they're covered.
you know.
Not necessarily.
Why are we having this discussion?
Because the way this is read is the using, operating, or permitting to be played. It doesn't say,
That's even a television set. That's just-
Right.
I mean, it's all grouped in there. But that very first paragraph, D1, that's the violation.
wait a minute. If, let me ask a question. So if you look at part C, the environmental sound levels, if those decibels are never exceeded, what's to prohibit somebody from playing a musical instrument?
The way this ordinance is written, that's actually irrelevant. It's in there, but a couple of times it references that. But the section that we're talking about now doesn't even reference the decibels.
Pretty much if you're playing the drums or you're playing your guitar and you offend,
That's a citizen's right. You're right. You may have somebody working shift work who's sleeping at the
Oh.
same time. You can't.
I understand.
Every scenario.
so,
I mean,
could we revise this ordinance to just say D1?
Or they could very well be rewritten.
but it
And
still
I mean-
doesn't change the fact that if Cody is playing his trumpet and I happen to have the windows open because it's a nice day, and my neighbor across the street is aggravated for whatever reason, calls him, I can still get a ticket because they want to be open, which is ridiculous. Because there are cities out there that, yes, the person has the right to complain about the noise, but during certain times, it doesn't matter what the noise level, I mean, what it is. People should not be restricted on what they do in their own home and on their own property when it's not meant to be disturbing anybody, it's just what they're doing. It's how they deal with their anxiety or whatever, their schoolwork. But we're being told that as citizens, we have a right to just pick on people. Because that's, I mean, there's no reason, if it is at midnight and you're trying to sleep, I get it. I get that. But if it is in the middle of the day, you know, maybe turn your TV up a little bit. I do. Every time my neighbor revs the engine on his boat that he can't take anywhere. So I'm not gonna call and make him get a ticket every day all day long. Brittany's back there trying to work and he's revving his engine. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything.
This adult male that's playing the drums, when is he playing the drums? During the day?
During the day.
During the day,
During the day.
for hours on end.
And we've had several people complaining, and he's received a couple of citations. But the citizens have agreed to come in and sign a complaint and move forward, that's how it's their right to do that.
I think it creates a hardship on the parents to say, okay, we'll open the red barn, you come up here and do that, because it's taking away from.
I wouldn't mind going down and roping the red barn, you know, but it's the different times the kids have to do it, if they're different things.
That's what I'm saying, that's why I was asking if it was
Because that wouldn't be a problem, but
a certain time of the day.
So right now, this has not been a problem for the police department, we have not received any complaints. And when we go out on these type of complaints, you know, we try to communicate. And we don't, whoever's creating the disturbance, we don't tell them who's complaining on them. You know, we try to get them to comply. You know, either, you know, someone's doing shift work, or sleeping during the daytime, or they can't sleep when you playing with the drums, or whatever the situation may be. Hopefully that will resolve the situation. But like I said, right now, we don't have it. It's not an issue. Not to say that this definitely needs to be rewritten, but.
As I read it, okay, so sitting here listening to y'all, I think that this is not a problem at this point. Just because of that provision in D1. We have to have different standards for children than we have for the adults. I think that they need to be able to practice their instruments, but I don't think that they need to do it in an obnoxious way to anyone. And so this provision that says, and I don't know about the distances and all of the things that are listed in here, I think that it really has to do with if it is annoying someone, if it is disturbing their peace, then that needs to be addressed. I think all of these things that are listed in here, I think it is a little bit too much, especially since we are such a small community. So we'll look at revising this so that it says, so that it's more applicable to our community. think any kind of, after you have a chance to read it through and really look at it, tell me what you think about what it really needs to say. Because I think people need to know that they can complain, but we also don't want them to think that doing an official complaint to the police is the first thing that they should do. We don't want to disturb anybody's peace, but we also want to have our kids feel like they're accepted in our community.
I'm sorry. I have a question for Ron. What have you been doing up until this point?
Keeping my kids in listening to multiple things going on at the same time.
But see,
During
here's the thing.
during the school year,
They still have to practice throughout the school year.
and they practice at home, inside.
But like I said, Brittany works at home. Cody can't play his instrument in the house during the day when she works. He has to go. Because otherwise she can lose her job because of that kind of thing. But if we can't play it outside, because it's going to disturb the peace.
Say Caden's practicing and Justin's practicing, or Justin's recording. It's gonna pick up Caden's sound from the other room, and then it's gonna be called Justin's Bell. So that's his. They don't realize that they're recording at the same time.
So it's basically being outside the plane that we're concerned about.
I guess it's frustrating for me because there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of dogs barking around me that I can just deal with it. I can go in my house, I can do whatever. And it amazes me that people can be, that's my frustration. That we should not be having to have this conversation. And I guess I'm more considerate about other people, and it saddens me to know that the world is the way it is.
Do we need to discuss this further? Do we need to do anything?
Oh, this whole ordinance needs to change.
We need to change the whole ordinance so that it's more up to date. This isn't the only one. It needs that kind of revision. Do you think we need to do anything different than what we're doing right now?
I do not, are you talking about this ordinance still? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still talking about this ordinance. Do we need to do anything different than we're doing right now?
Yeah, and the complaints, right?
No complaints about kids playing there in the streets. No.
Because I knew that it was against ordinance for this, and I made a post on the forum, and my neighbor's the one that got ticked off and said that they were putting a top cop on it.
That's why I'm most frustrated. Not because just her instance, but because there are people out there.
Yeah, if your neighbor would come to you instead of.
Well, there's many times that I could call the cops on the kids at the park. Like every night,
I agree.
but it's a park.
And in 10 years from now, is it gonna really matter that they were blaring the radio next door? I mean, that's how I look at it, so, you know, that.
Okay, I'm done. We don't need to talk about this anymore. We're gonna let this go. We're gonna redo this. We're gonna redo the ordinance. Don't worry, Jess. Oh, tell the chief not to do that. Okay, we're not gonna do any more with that. With everything that's been going on, I do not have a mayor's update.
You skipped over 7 and 8, did
Oh,
we
did I?
go back to it?
No,
The only thing I was gonna say is, I don't feel that we need to do a shelter in place unless the county makes us do it.
that,
That's my only,
The governor pretty much did it for us,
well,
sort of.
he did. We are not taking, I mean, he didn't really say that either. He said,
he just continued
he
what he
just
already did.
continued what was already in place, telling people to use common sense. That's what the whole thing is all about. So we're not gonna take, the city of Log Cabin, my position is the city of Log Cabin is not going to ask people to stay at home unless the county does. Part of the county's emergency plan. We're not gonna be like Tool, and we're not gonna be like Denver, where we are shutting down, we don't have businesses shut down, but we're shutting down the businesses and all of that. So all being taken care of by the governor by what he's doing at this point. So until the county makes a move in that direction, we're not going to. And we don't know what's gonna happen in the future because, I mean, we only have like one person in the county so far, and this has come later than all of the other things up in the Metroplex area. So we don't know how we're gonna be affected, how many more people in our county are gonna become affected, and that's gonna be what determines what the county does.
And as of right now, all of our health, doctors, hospitals, the protocol right now is unless they're having severe symptoms of the COVID-19, they're not testing them for COVID-19. So, they can tell them presumptuous, but they're saving their tests for the severe cases. So, wash your hands. I mean, I understand because our county does not have as many tests, access to as many tests as the other counties do.
Not to congregate, not to go out unnecessarily, not to have contact with people outside their own families. But we're not mandating. No declaration to that effect. Okay. And that's, number 7 and 8 are things that, life is so fluid right now, we don't even know what kind of strategy or plan we should have. So that's gonna come.
Well, I think the
And,
thing,
and one of the things that, of why I put this on here is that I don't feel that, even though it's my job, that I should be making these decisions all on my own without advice from you all. And that's, I guess that was my frustration when I first put these on the agenda, was that
but
I wasn't prepared to do,
I think
to do all those things.
I believe that we've really taken care of those two in discussing the water payments, the park restrooms,
Yeah.
things like that. I think that we have,
Report except to say that the sewer plant is not finished yet. The items that were going to be addressed when they started to do them were not going to solve the problems that were still there. And these are not really vital to the operation. They are things to keep the plant running smoothly and to address some things that hadn't been addressed in the past. So the engineer has been working on a solution for those things, and Jeremy's going to start tomorrow. Jeremy's going to start tomorrow on completing those things that needed to be done at the sewer plant. That's all of it. Chief?
I think I have 3 handouts in your packet. And this is accumulated from February, since we didn't meet in March. So a couple of these reports, the first one was just the monthly activity for February for the police department. We issued 58 citations and issued 3 warnings, 1 arrest. Actually, there should be 3 arrests, 2 were on view and 1 was on warrant as call for service, to show our productivity throughout the month. Not going to bore you with all the numbers sent there, but you can see there what we did for the month of February. The next item in your packet is our racial profiling report for 2019. This is a report that's mandated by the state that I have to present to council every year. Basically, it just clarifies that the Lock Haven Police Department has adopted a detailed written policy on racial profiling, that our policy clearly defines acts constituting racial profiling. It strictly prohibits peace officers employed by the Lock Haven Police Department from engaging in racial profiling. It implements a process by which an individual may file a complaint with the Lock Haven Police Department if the individual believes that a peace officer employed by the Lock Haven Police Department had engaged in racial profiling with respect to the individual, and provides for public education related to the agency's complaint process. It goes on to describe some more what our policies actually entail. And then the next page actually breaks down the number of stops. Again, I have to report each and every stop to the state of Texas, including all of these demographics. And that's for your perusal there if you have any questions about that. I think
Is this an annual thing?
that is an annual thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And the last handout in your pamphlet there is just a snapshot of crime statistics for the fiscal year 2018 to 2019. Just counting the numbers, overall crime reported Lock Haven Police was down 28% versus same time previous year. And there's a comparison there, 2019 versus 2018. Breaking down the major crimes being assaults, burglaries, burglars, motor vehicles, murder, sexual assaults, stolen vehicles, and thefts. Overall, that was down 34%. Other crime, misdemeanor crimes, criminal mischief and services, et cetera, they're down by 27%.
Good job.
Overall, we had a really good fiscal year, 2018, 2019.
Do we have a new code enforcement officer?
We do. We have a new code enforcement officer.
When did that happen?
Did he start
Started March.
March 9th?
March 9th. I think I did report. No, oh, wait, that was on that.
We didn't have a meeting.
We didn't have the meeting, so we didn't.
Email about it.
Right, I'm sorry.
We get emails about everything else.
Yes, we do have a new code enforcement officer. His name is Raleigh Dow.
Where is he from?
He lives in Malakoff. He is a licensed police officer. Is that the designation?
He is a police officer. His primary responsibility is code enforcement. But he could put in work.
Raleigh.
Raleigh, like Sir Walter Raleigh.
And he's already hit the ground running, so he's already.
Yeah, I know I had to go on that anyway for my son mowed my neighbor's yard yesterday.
Oh, I do have one other thing.
For free.
I have, had a call from, Warren Claxton, the mayor at Star Harbor. And he is interested in possibly, like we share police officers, and possibly using our code enforcement officer a couple times a month is what we're looking at.
We're gonna increase our monthly fee.
Oh, yeah, oh, this would be a different fee from the police officer. This would be for the code enforcement officer. It will be based on, salary, so, well, not just salary, but that will be in for components. But it's just in the talking stages. As a small city, it's important for us to maybe combine services for certain things. So Star Harbor and Lake Canada. Okay, anything else?
Yes, the Easter egg hunt has been canceled, the town hall meeting has been canceled.
Canceled, not postponed, because you were postponing last month.
That's right, okay, so the Easter egg hunt is still postponed, but we did cancel the town hall meeting. Which was supposed to be this month, that way everybody knows.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so we have received some citizen comments. And this item provides the opportunity for citizens to address the city council. By state law, comments by the mayor or council members on any item not on the agenda needs to be limited to statements of specific information given in response to an inquiry, a recitation of existing policy in response to an inquiry, and a proposal to place the subject on an agenda for a future meeting. Belinda?
The first comment is from Nancy Hubbard, who is our neighbor here on Alamo. Why can't we just post the restrooms as use at your own risk for COVID-19? Then log cabin will not be liable and the fishermen can still use them. The next comment is also from Nancy. This is in regard to the offer to purchase the 10 plus acres. Her comment is, that seems like an awful small offer for 10 acres. What is the going rate? So then you all had some discussion about that. The comment is from Nancy also, just about the chicken, counted 57 yeses and 2 nos on the Facebook. Next comment is from Nancy Hubbard. I'm a musician and play multiple instruments, including brass. I think if we ban instruments during the day, we will have to ban TV and people in their backyards cooking burgers, stereos on. I play my instrument in my house or in my shed. I love to hear other musicians practicing. If the kids are playing their instruments outside during the day, who cares? If you don't allow that, then you can't allow stereo systems or TVs either. And then the last thing she said about that was, well, no, not the last thing, sorry. One other comment from her is, let them play until 10 p.m. Then she said, the other day I was in my yard, someone was walking with a blasting stereo that was blasting music with foul language. It was during the day. I didn't much like it, but it was their right to make noise at that time. If you single out one group and make them separate, then you have to include all other noise in the ordinance as well. People will start complaining about that this year. Thank you, Nancy. We also had a comment or two about the volume and the ability for the audio today, and it was good. He said it was much better than the last meeting. I also have a comment from Aaron Scott. He said, speaking of the noise ordinance, the main problem that I'm experiencing is bass from car audio systems. I think it would be wise for the council to write into the noise ordinance how loud noise can be heard in decibels from the source before it is considered a violation. Also, the time of day should be taken in consideration with the noise level. And then he also commented,
That's it, it's in there, the decibel's in there, it's just really hard.
Aaron also commented on the chicken issue. He said in reference to use the distance between the chicken coops and the nearest neighbor's house as measurement instead of the nearest neighbor's property line in drafting the new ordinance.
Yes.
And those were all the comments.
Okay,
Thank you all.
anything else? Thank you for your comments, we appreciate them. There being no further agenda items, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor? We are adjourned.